athletes, okay? Not just swimmers, but better athletes. I love it. You know, our high school girls have won, you know, we won the national championship 3 out of 4 years, and they look like athletes. They look strong, you know, they look fit. They can be an intimidating group when they walk on the pool deck, and I like that. But we do, so this is where the dry land starts getting introduced. What's the youngest junior we have? 11? 11. So 11 would be the youngest in this age, and up to 14, your occasional prepubescent 15-year-old are in there, but mainly, so it's, you know, it's mainly your kind of, you know, 12, 13, 14-year-old kid in that group. Still not heavy yardage. I mean, I was embarrassed yesterday saying this. I'm a proud graduate of Germantown Academy. I grew up around the corner and swimming for Dick Schulberg forever, and if you know Dick, he likes his yards, and he likes to swim a lot, and Lord knows when I swam for him, I looked at that black line an awful lot. I was embarrassed saying in front of him, like, I barely even count yardage. I'm really not concerned with it. I'm concerned with how much fast swimming we do and how much work we do, but you know, if we did 5,000 fast, I'll take that over 7,000 sloppy and unproductive any day of the week. I am harping to my coaches all the time that whatever group we are, I just want to see productive practices going on. Okay, I want to see productive laps being swum. I want to see productive strokes being taken. Okay, I don't, you know, we are by no means a slave to the yardage total, by no means. But they do start to swim a little bit more. They compete in local competitions as well as throughout our LSC. This is when they start to go to the zone meet sometimes. But it is very much a technique and kicking-based program that we run, you know, throughout as they lead on in. So the bottom line is this: our flow goes lessons to the club team. Hopefully, you like the club team so much that you come to Baylor School, which is the middle school team, which runs into the varsity team. Okay, it flows as kind of an activity at a young age to a very committed thing at an old age. And I frankly say to the parents of the young kids, look, we're not going to take you to many meets. We want you to save your money because it's not cheap to go to Baylor, okay? And we're going to want your kids to come to Baylor, and it's not cheap to go to fly to California for nationals or to go do this training, you know, this training trip or whatever. There's a lot more expenses to it, so I try to implore the parents, you know, save your money, because if this is the long haul that you want to be in for, it, you know, it's not a cheap sport. It's not a cheap endeavor. It's just the way it is. But one of the main goals of the program is obviously to attract kids to our school. We use the swimming lesson program as our first touch. That's our first chance to make that impact on a family. And that's why, I mean, I can't say enough good things about the job Brian and his instructors have done, because we have happy parents coming in and gleefully coming in and having their kids learn how to swim in a real safe and fun environment. And that's a wonderful thing when you can get that first touch. When they, you know, one of my things is when they hear Baylor School swimming, I want them to naturally smile, you know, and naturally have a little twinkle in their eye when they hear that. And it's a big help if you can have a quality lesson program. And again, we're trying to go from a program that is fun and technique-based, but allows the kids to be kids all the way through, much more committed group. So that's how the whole thing kind of ties together. Again, it's a unique opportunity. I know we have a lot of high school coaches in here, and I know that a lot of you struggle with any number of rules. And I'm a big believer in, hey, I've always said in life, I just want to know the hand I'm dealt, because I'm going to play it to the nines. I'm going to play it as much as I can. Okay, I just want it. What are the rules? What are we playing under? So that I can really go to it from there. But that's kind of the main thing about it. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Yes.
Earlier you were talking about the timing of your championship meets, and I was wondering if you like the timing of your high school
There was a movement in our state to go to be a fall sport. And I was like, oh God, no. In talking to Sergio, one of the things we talked about was there's a big difference between, especially the boys, a junior in high school at the beginning of their high school year, and what kind of athlete and development can have happen where you have time later on. I wish our meet was a little bit later. A couple weeks later, that would be ideal for me, but I'm fine with it where it is. It would be tough to be a fall sport. The other thing too is, in my mind, there's not a lot of opportunities. At Baylor, you have to do an after-school activity, okay? Now that doesn't have to be a sport. It can be the play, it can be community service, it can be, we've got a organic garden, people that grow food, and we serve it in the dining hall. You can be in one of those things, but you have to be doing something after school. There's a glut already of sports, especially for the boys, the way our other sports seasons are set up in the fall and in the spring. And if you took away swimming from the wintertime, the only opportunities would be basketball and wrestling. That's it, okay, for boys to participate in a sport. So I like it where it is. I'm glad it's not in the fall. I'm glad it's not a fall sport. Does that answer your question? Yes.
Yeah, I have two questions. How is the academic and sport swimmers, if you have any deal with the teachers? And my swimmers, when they are not, they have to study and do many things, and they can do the practice. They should.
Right.
And another thing is, if the swimmer can do another sport,
Yes. Okay.
they can only one.
I'll answer those. The first basic question was, how do you balance academics and athletics? Again, another advantage that this opportunity provides me is I literally live there. I literally live on the campus. If somebody is not doing what they're supposed to academically, I will hear about it before their homeroom teacher does, before their parents do. Either myself or one of my coaches will be told by the teacher. And I'm pretty no nonsense on, look, you got to get good grades. And I'm pretty intolerant of not getting good grades, because at Baylor, one of the things that I like about the school is you're given every opportunity to succeed, okay? The teachers are very willing to work with you. You have plenty of opportunity for, like I said, extra study time. Our swimmers are allowed 2 extra studies a month, okay? If they say, hey, coach, I've got to take an extra study, okay? They can't be on a Monday, or can't be on, these are school rules. They can't be on a Monday, can't be on a Friday, but they're allowed 2 extra studies. And if a student says, hey, I got to take an extra study, we really have to base, unless we know they're completely full of crap, we have to allow them the extra studies. And some try and, take advantage of it. That's why my one assistant, he's very particular, and I am not very particular and anal. Then that's why it's the nice yin yang. My other assistant, very particular, very anal, takes attendance every day, and he will be, you've already used up yours for the month. So the kids get a lot of time, and also in the way the Baylor school day works is they usually have at least one free period to do work. And I'm not very tolerant of them, okay, because if they're not doing their work, I find out about it quickly. So, and again, the good news is they have to, it's a school rule. It's like another class. They have to do something after school. They have to be doing something. So I have the hammer, you know what I mean, in a lot of those situations. And your second question was? Oh, yes, we have people, yes, from time to time, but we definitely have kids that do other sports. I get aggravated. I'm like, crew coaches, would you please recruit your own kids and quit cherry picking mine in the spring? Okay, I didn't see you busting your tail to get the kid into school. You've got great facilities. Go, have at it. That's why our state just put in or there's a movement to have water polo, and I was like, no, as long as I'm here at the Baylor School, we will not be doing water polo, simply because, again, it's not a situation where I have to, run water polo to get more swimming workouts in. I don't have that restriction on me, and I don't know, it's just been my experience that water polo doesn't make boys teams tougher in my mind. They need to be training. So, and Lord knows my team needs to get tougher. But we're going, am I lying? I'm not lying. So this particular group, talented, but wow, they could really be a little tougher. And we're going to work on that. So, but academically, we've done really well. We've had 2 boys go to Harvard in the last 3 years. We've had numerous academic scholastic All-Americans, and we like to use that program that United States Swimming does to recognize that. But again, it's when you live where you work and where some of the kids live there too, it's a real small neighborhood. Oftentimes they will be like, wow, Coach Flack, how do you know about that already? I'm like, hello, because I live here, and there's a lot of times where I don't want to know about this stuff, but I have no choice but to deal with it. So that makes it a kind of a unique situation.
Talk a little bit about how involved you are with the graduating seniors and their decisions to swim at the next level.
The question was, how involved am I with kids' choices of college? I am very involved. A bit of my background in my first, 10, 12 years of coaching, I was always doing a dual role. I did this at the University of Georgia. I would be an assistant coach with the college team, and then I would either be the senior coach or the head coach of the club program. I did that at the University of North Carolina, did it at Brown University, did it at the University of Georgia, did a little bit at LSU. So I always tell the kids, look, I've been on both sides of the recruiting phone call. So I kind of play, I don't know, agent if the right words, but I am able to kind of steer them along a little bit. And some of the parents want me to be a lot more involved, so I am. And then some, they only come and ask me when they really need advice or need guidance. We have a rule that it's not a firm rule, but it's definitely a suggestion that you only take, that the kids only take 3 recruiting trips. Because I think when kids take 5, it's kind of a suicide mission, especially if there's a lot of travel on it. Because who's kidding who? When they take a college recruiting trip, they're not sleeping the way they normally sleep, okay? They're missing a day of school usually. They're missing training. And it just snowballs and adds up. And it bums me out when I see a senior not get to enjoy their senior year because they're just kind of behind the whole time. That really, I hate to see that happen to kids. I have a very talented swimmer right now, Kristen Vriedeveld. She's set a national age group record in the 50 free. She's 22-1. She's fast. Lots of colleges wanted her. I was able to weed through some things, but then just getting to think about some certain things. Okay, she wants to go West Coast, right? She's going to look at Cal, and at first she was going to go to Cal, USC, and Stanford. And at first she had their trips all set up, boom, boom, boom. And I was like, no, you can't. Again, that's another suicide mission. You're flying back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No, let's spread these out, get you 2 weeks in between where you can kind of recoup, get caught up in school, keep your training up and all that. And I think that's, these are the kind of things that, a parent or a swimmer, they're not thinking that way. But I'm in a unique situation having had that experience that I can kind of point some things out to them. I do a thing with juniors where I give them 5 questions, and I forgot what that. Where do you want to fit on the team? How much of an impact is scholarship? Do you want to go to a big school, small school? What do you want to study? And geography. Where in the country do you want to go? Once they give me the answers to those, that usually spawns a couple more questions, and then I can say, okay, based on what you're looking at, here are some schools that I think kind of fit your profile. And I think that's helped them a ton, kind of make the whole college decision a little clearer for them.
The cap wall. We haven't.
Oh, yeah. This is cool. What? You can say it.
This is another thing that I think makes a big difference, and it's really because being where we are, our kids are sucked in mentally to SEC. Well, obviously, you know, very few are really cut out to swim in the SEC that we have.
It's logistically, Chattanooga is basically 3 hours from every team in the SEC. You know, in Chattanooga, there's a bunch of interstates that combine. You can get to any one of those places, you know, give or take 3.5 hours or less. So
we worked really hard on getting our kids to understand that at any level you are swimming, if you want to swim in college, there's a place for you. And we have a parent alum that he fits every bill, who worked for years, and it finally came to fruition this last year. And in a hallway outside our pool is what our cap wall is, and he worked very diligently to get a cap from every college that any swim club, not just Baylor school student, had attended. And it is a pretty impressive thing, and it runs the gamut. And our kids finally started looking and going, oh. And now I hear some of them saying, I want to go somewhere that's not on the wall, you know, to put a new cap on. So it really has expanded their horizons of, oh, I can go somewhere else.
right, with that, we list the names of every student who's gone there, or every swimmer who's gone to that school, and it's really an impressive thing. Another thing we've done, which is really cool, I think, to make our place a little different. We have a picture. If you're an All-American or a relay All-American, when you graduate, your picture goes up on a wall, and it's impressive to see that many pictures up on the wall. And the funny thing is, you know, we've had some people who, you know, their parents swam at Baylor and were studs and All-Americans, and now their kids swim, and you laugh, and it's like, oh my God, look, you know, you see the child at 16 and the parent at 16, it's like, wow, they look exactly alike. It's kind of wild to see. And then one last thing we did, I was like, okay, because I embraced the whole international swimming thing. You know, one of our mottos is, you know, that we're adopting this year is, hey, you know, the world's only getting smaller, right? With the internet and everything, you can video chat to somebody and halfway around the world. So we now have, in our dining hall, they had the flags of, allegedly, or they're missing a few, but supposedly for every country where a student has come to the school from a different country, it's up in our dining hall, their flag is up. Well, we've taken that approach too, and on one side we have the flags of every country, again, that swimmers have come from throughout the world. Then we also have the flags of every country where Baylor kids have competed in the world, and as well, we have plaques listing their names and the different competitions. And I think it says something like Baylor swimming on a global scale or something like that. But it's, again, when you walk in, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's an impressive thing to see, and it definitely catches your eye. So those are some kind of things we've used to help promote the program and what we're all about. I'm about out of time. Any last questions? Again, if anyone would like this PowerPoint or yesterday's PowerPoint, please come give me your email, and I will send it out to you later on this afternoon. Thank you very much.